We are moving on now to our final candidate for the evening, um, Chuck Borges. He is running for our state senator for District 29, which encompasses St. Mary's and Calvert and Charles and, well, not all, a little bit of Calvert and a little bit of Charles, I think.
Julia,
Carry
can
on.
you hear me?
I can hear you. Go.
Great. Good evening, everybody. My name is Chuck Borges. I am running for state senate in District 29, which, as Julia said, is all of St. Mary's County and the lower third of Calvert County up to the power plant, but oddly not including the power plant. I'd like to talk to you tonight about why I'm running for state senate. I'd like to talk to you about who I am, and I'd like to talk to you about what I'm prioritizing. Let's start with why I'm running. I have a son. He's 9. I like to think I'm a smart guy, but he is way more brilliant than me. He is a mathematical whiz. He reads at a great level. We educate intelligent, well-adjusted students down here, and they leave. We do not have an economy that supports young professionals. We may be growing in population, but we are shrinking in young professional population. We are shrinking in school enrollment. We are losing elderly retirees because of the property tax burden that they face when those young people leave and takes their tax dollars with them. When my son turns 18, if the status quo continues and we continue to elect leadership that profits off that status quo instead of brings new ideas to this region, I will probably encourage him to leave. But I would like him to stay near his parents. I would like him to be near us, not too close, maybe like half an hour. He can live across the bridge. But I would like to see him close to his parents in a job that he can turn into a career. So that's why I'm running for state senate. Here's what I offer. First, I'm a fighter. I, as you can see in the background, served 23 years in the Navy. I was on deployment during 9/11. I'm decorated for valor in combat in Iraq. I know what it means to serve the public and put my life on the line for others. Last year, when I was the Social Security Administration's chief data officer and a senior executive, I publicly stood up to DOJ to protect everybody in this country's personal information and lost my career for it. I know how to put people before my own personal interest, and I've demonstrated that. I've done my duty to my country, and now I'd like to make a difference in this community. In addition, like I said, I was the CDO at Social Security. I am a data-driven innovator. I have saved lives with data. I've saved pilot lives with data in the DoD, and I have saved public lives at CDC by standing up a business architecture for them. I understand data. I'm a nationally known data geek. We need more people that understand data and technology in positions of leadership. I'm used to solving problems at scale. I'm used to driving legislation, and I will put data-driven policies in place. You will always know when I propose a bill what the return on investment is, what the cost is. You will know that with transparency, and you will know it because you will see me every day interacting with local leadership and community leaders to make sure their input is understood and incorporated. The third thing I'm offering is ethical leadership. I think our local leadership at the local and state level lacks the initiative, the imagination, and in some cases, the moral integrity to put the needs of others over their own personal profits. As I said earlier, I sacrificed my senior executive career to do the right thing for the American public. We need ethical leaders who will make hard decisions now to bring results to this region. Here's what I'm prioritizing. I'm prioritizing jobs. We have a great base. I worked 15 years on the base. It provides a lot of impact to this region. It's educated a lot of people. That is not long-term sustainable. We have a base economy. We have a retail economy. We do not have enough small business innovation in the middle to retain that young professional talent here. We need someone who understands that space and who can bring those jobs to this region that can turn into careers. I'm prioritizing housing. There are places around this country that have, in some cases, solved their housing problem or are working on it right now. No one should have to go from a $1,200 apartment to a $600,000 single-family home without anything in the middle. Let's look at the lessons that others have learned in New York, in the Southwest, and let's bring in someone who can think outside the box in ways that pairs those jobs that turn into careers with housing that people can afford at each stage in that career. Then they'll want to start families, and those kids will be here learning. Finally, I'm going to be prioritizing family support for those children. Let's make sure that our public health system is fully funded. Let's make sure wraparound services are there. Every dollar invested in a child's food at school returns $2 in economic value to this region. If I told you you could double your profit on an investment, everybody would go nuts. But when you invest in children, people are resistant. Annapolis is not looking out for us, and our leadership is ineffective. It's time to elect leadership that feeds children, that protects our natural resources. I was endorsed by the Sierra Club, that can uplift those in need and that understands innovation and will drive every day. Leadership with imagination that will do the work to build a sustainable economy that supports everyone instead of perpetuating a status quo of that people profit from. Thank you. I'm
Thank you
open to
so
questions.
much. Thank you, Chuck. That was very great. Um, your website should be in the chat
Yes.
for everybody to
My
follow if
website
you
is
want to.
chuck4md.com, the number 4MD, or Chuck4 Maryland. They all redirect to the same place. So
Wonderful. Thank you. So if folks want to follow up. All right. So I'm going to ask you here the $1 million question, but I don't want you to talk too long because I know you're a data geek.
I am a data
Data
geek.
centers,
Yeah.
data centers have been a hot topic. How will you approach the data center issue at the state level?
So let's talk about data centers. And Julia, I will promise to keep this short, although you know I can go all day. Um, Data centers are a huge industrial impact. No one will deny that compute power is here to stay. What we need is leadership that is not in bed with land developers and big business, not signing NDAs. I will pledge not many things. I will pledge never to sign an NDA. We need leadership who will look at compute power and figure out how to marry our need for that with small business innovation. Data centers, as they're currently constructed, are large, monolithic, huge natural resource burns that are built that way to maximize big business profit. There are small businesses out there today that are building distributed data centers in communities where there is very, very little community impact. Big business doesn't like that because it minimizes their profit, but provides the community similar resources and provides them well-paying jobs in sustaining and maintaining that equipment all around the community. So I am definitely against large industrial data centers because I don't believe that our fragile water-based ecology can handle that kind of industrial growth. And I'd say the same thing about an industrial-sized cannabis farm on 235. We do not need industrial development in St. Mary's County. We need small business growth that will help us grow our way out of the problems that we are facing in the future, rather than industrial growth that will destroy our economy, our ecology, drive more young people away, and eventually, as farms go under and their margins get tighter, that industrial growth will spread. And I'm happy to talk about this at length, at nauseum, with anybody who wants to talk to me about data centers. info@chuck4md.com. Please ask me all your questions.
Thank you so much. Okay. What professional or life experience do you have? And I think you touched a little bit on this in your opening speech, but expand a little bit if you would. What professional or life experience do you have that would help create better policy at the state level?
Well, I worked for 2 years in the Biden White House, and I helped write not only legislation for the administration, I helped write the federal data strategy. I think I bring both an understanding that legislation is an investment, and like any investment, you need to get into that investment early to pay the maximum amount of dividends. What we have here is a state government that does not look out for Southern Maryland and a local leadership that is ineffective at investing in change early. So as a Democrat in a blue state, I believe this is an opportunity for someone to negotiate changes into legislation and policy early in the process to bring results back to this region. I've done it at the federal level, which is why I'm running for state senate, because I believe that is a close approximation to my experience. Additionally, with my background in data and analytics, I will be understanding the data-driven results of every policy that I implement. You will not see me propose a bill to disadvantage nonprofits without understanding the impact on those nonprofits and whether we would receive any benefit from them. There will be no performative nonsense. When I'm the state senator, everything will be transparent and driven by data analysis.
Thank you. All right. And again, I think, let me just check. Yep. I think you touched a little bit on this in your speech, but it's hard to imagine a St. Mary's County without the Patuxent River Naval Air Station. And while it probably won't completely go away, there's always the possibility of a reduction in size.
That's
What do
true.
you envision for St. Mary's County if we were to lose a large piece of that workforce?
I'll be frank, the military is changing. We are learning lessons in Ukraine about small, agile drone deployment in aviation, especially, that will really impact how we develop weapons of the future over the next 5 or 10 years. Gone are the days of large monolithic program offices. The military and contracting are becoming smaller and more agile. The base will lose employment, I believe, over the next 5 or 10 years, and we need to be prepared for that now. One of the things we need to be focusing on is looking at the defense base that we have here, the industrial base that we have of contractors, and providing them incentives to diversify the lines of business that they have into defense adjacent fields. Let me give you two examples. I just talked about drones. Drones have great application in farming agriculture to understand crop yields and insect impacts. We need to bring small business incentives down here so that companies working in defense on drones are more enthused about working with our rural agriculture and our watermen on how drones can make their businesses more efficient. The other thing is, let's look at something outside the box, like Major League Baseball. Did you know that Major League Baseball uses missile technology to track pitches? You know, you watch a baseball game and the pitch goes like that, and that's missile tracking technology. There are many defense adjacent applications for the technologies that we have down here. We need someone that will think outside the box to bring those diversified lines of business to Southern Maryland so we can be the center of innovation for the East Coast. We have the perfect mix of rural agriculture, water-based ecology, and educated tech talent. We need all three of those working together to protect what we have.
Great. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time this evening. It was great
Thank you.
talking to you. You can get in touch with him if through his website if you are interested in getting involved or have any further questions for him. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for your time.